I think, man, I can't believe like we on a cusp of another season where it's questions, man. Like what I'm saying is questions. Like we're not questioning are the Lions good. We're not saying that. You know what I'm saying? We're shifting gears a little bit just to talk about like to start this season off. You know what I mean? For me, well, I'm gonna just tell you right off the bat, it's Jared Goff. It's the quarterback. You know what I mean? Jared Goff has got to. I don't even. He's a veteran, 9 years in. You can't really say take the next step. You can't even say that at this
No,
point.
of course not.
But
There is no next step. You're
yeah,
30.
but for
Like,
me,
let's be
well,
real.
he's got to. Can I say elevate his game? Can I say that? I mean, I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility. I mean, he could elevate his game, man. Can he do it? It remains to be seen. I mean, I don't want it to seem like this
I
whole
want to just see him do
season.
it in the big moments. Like I can deal with Jared Goff 2025 not having a
Yeah,
4,300 yard season, not having 30 plus touchdowns, but he
yeah,
has 24 touchdowns, 25 touchdowns. We win those games, those tough grind them out games, and he plays
yeah,
well in the playoffs. Because
yeah,
listen, the Rams fans have seen Jared Goff play well in the playoffs. Well, not necessarily consistently, but they've seen him play well in the regular season. We've seen him play well in the regular season. But is at a point in time now, like you were right to start the show off. Year what 9 now? You know, you're 30.
yeah.
There is no room to grow. Like everybody has reached their ceiling by the age of 30, 31. You are what you are. Now the deal is off of all the experience that you have, all of the
Yeah,
seasoning that you have, as you know, being Jared Goff, all the
that's right.
highs, all the lows, all the bounce backs, being thrown to the scrap heap and getting up, dusting yourself off, putting on the tuxedo and restarting your career over again. Now it's about winning, the big one. Like it's not
That's
about
right.
anything else. We've seen you play at an MVP level. You know, we've seen you get this franchise its first playoff victory since 1991. We ended up getting two
Yep.
of them. We saw you lead this team to the NFC Championship game and come within one quarter of going to play Kansas City, and that would have happened all bets off. What could have been? So now I agree. I don't want to take over from you. Just I'm glad you started out with
No.
that though, because I think it's very, very crucial.
Yeah. And I mean, your confidence as a team, as an organization goes according to your quarterback. You know what I'm saying? The reason why, the Bengals can say we've got a chance this year because they got Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying? The reason why, Jalen Hurt just won the Super Bowl, but you know what I'm saying? You get my point. You know what I mean? If you got a quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, you know what I mean? All of those guys, man, you have one of those guys, Matthew Stafford. I told you the thing that and Matthew Stafford is kind of bullied his way up into the upper echelon of quarterbacks, I think, man, for his career. I think that running that ring changes a lot. It does. I mean, yeah, you got a bunch of stats. It looked good, like Jared Goff. What we say in the pre-show, 35,000 yards already in his career. You know what I mean? Over 200 some touchdowns, man. I mean, it looks good on paper, but you just gonna be known for, another Warren Moon like career. You know what I mean? Remember, Warren Moon was a dog, you know what I'm saying? Had a hell of a stats, but never won. You know what I mean? Like the big game, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, Drew Brees was another one I could think of. A whole hell of a lot of yards. You know what I'm saying? When he won the Super Bowl, kind of put himself into elite company, man. And
Gave
is
the
Jared
numbers validation.
exactly. And Jared Goff, it's on him, man. I really do believe that. I mean, we're gonna get into some other stuff. I mean, a lot of things has to happen. You know what I'm saying? We know, and in the course of a season, luck, no, injury bug don't ravage the team, which man, God forbid we seen that happen last year. But I truly believe, man. I think that if Jared Goff is going to lead this team, man, this is the year to do it because he lost a lot. I think losing Ben Johnson is way bigger than what people think, man. I've talking to her. I've talked to a couple people and say, oh, it's not going to matter, or you got the core play, and you do. Obviously we got the core players. I think the offensive line, Walt. I think that was a kick in the groin, man. To have Ragnar retire, that is a direct effect to Jared Goff. I mean, I know Jared Goff was probably punching the air when that happened, dude. He was at home shadow boxing. You know what I'm saying? Thinking about, like, oh crap. You know what I'm saying? That, what the heck, not saying he's panicking, but let's be honest, man. Frank Ragnar, a Pro Bowl center. Frank came out there and protected him. You know what I'm saying? And solidified the running game. I mean, that's what the two things I'm worried about. Number one is Jared Goff, and number two is the running game. I mean, I don't know how great that we can be without Frank Ragnow. You know what I'm saying? I know Penei Sewell. We know Sewell is a Pro Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Pro Bowl, All Pro. That's just one guy, man. Mahogany. Tate Ratledge, which I love Tate Ratledge. You know what I'm saying? It looks like him and Glasgow gonna give it a go. Mahogany, between the three of those guys, two of those spots should be to be had, and on our offensive line. So, and I think Goff needs all the continuity, man. He needs that line to be tight. He needs like to not be the to go out there and throw it 45 times because that's the recipe for disaster. I just don't think that that's the right plan for him. Now, I don't think that. Let's give John Morton credit. I mean, it might be a perfect segue. I don't know nothing about John Morton. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try that, and that's another thing that at least Kelvin Shepard has a little track record. You know what I'm saying? Can we kind of know his tendencies? He's been on the staff. He's got some continuity. He's not the new guy on the block. Things like that we got to adapt to. So, but I do think that John Morton is. I hope him and Jared Goff get off on the right foot, man, because it could be, if Jared Goff is struggling or he's indecisive or just doesn't have the playbook down, or not, these players are not on the same page. Well, it could be an ugly start to the season, man. Offensively, you know what I'm saying? I just think
Yeah.
it may be. The defense may have to hold us up until we straighten it out on offense. To start the season. So
I mean, is it okay to put it on him?
yeah,
Like the way we put
no,
it on
yeah,
every other quarterback in the league, though.
yes,
It just
yes,
kills me how, like, with a portion of this fan base here, they just tiptoe around that whole elephant in the room. Like, you want him to be called elite, but you don't want him to be held accountable when it comes to whether or not his team, because it is his team, because he's the quarterback, whether or not he performs well. What if we need
yeah,
him to have a 45 um, attempt game? See, that's the thing about the playoffs. Typically, especially if you have to go through 3 games instead of just, two before you have to get to the Super Bowl, you have situations where you're going to get tested in a multitude of ways. One game may be a 16-13 game. The next game, it may take you to score 33 to win.
yeah,
That next game may be a 45-39 game. You never know.
yeah,
But the best of the best, they can adapt to all of those situations. I can't, if it's a situation where we can win or we can reach the Super Bowl, if in regards to my quarterback, I don't like that, because I
yeah,
need to be able to get behind you. And we can go back and we can revisit the Commanders loss. Me and you both discussed how disturbing it was to see our starting quarterback, a
yeah,
veteran in this league, look like he was the rookie.
yeah,
And all you heard the next day on media around the city was, well, it's not his fault. It's never his fault when he throws 4 picks. It's always everybody else around him. And I
yeah,
don't think that's fair to the amount of talent that we have on this team, just to be frank about it, man. And we need to start holding him accountable and stop treating him with kid gloves. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, we go how he goes. We already
Yeah.
know that. If he's performing well against the elite teams, because he's gonna play some elite teams this year.
Yeah.
If he's performing well in those games, but we lose on a field goal or a bad call, or maybe it came down to a last drive and he didn't get the opportunity to lead the drive and the opponent got the touchdown or the game winning field goal or whatever, it happens. And I
Yeah.
want to be proud of that situation. I want to at least say, listen, my guy went toe to toe and he tried. But
Yeah.
we can't, as a championship team, how many four interception games do you really see from Mahomes? Now, granted, he had some stinkers in the Super Bowl, one
Yeah.
against Tampa and one against Philly last year. But the greats don't not necessarily even want to put him in a category with greats, but the elites of his time, of your era, you can't be out there with these high performances against bad competition, against the AFC South teams and this and that. And
Yeah.
then when you play the tougher teams, the tougher you ever notice with Jared, the higher it starts to go level wise in competition, the more his numbers start to taper off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you
And
play somebody elite, it looks real bad.
yeah. Now I think, you know, just what you said, because like you said, the level of competition ratchets up. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you know, you
We
can't
need you to
the
ratchet it up.
right, the three and outs gotta be at a minimum, man. You know what I'm saying? Playoffs come, three and outs is like that's killer. That's worse than a turnover sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It just go three and out and not score. So you got to be able to keep pace. And like you said, when the competition ratchets it up, then you can't be still at the same level. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times, like you said, that's what happened. You know, let's make no mistake about it, man. I still can't get Brock Purdy beating us. Get that out. I get out. You know what I'm saying? Getting that part out of my head, because it's like you're to me, I think Goff is better than Purdy. I really do. I think he is, but
Oh yeah, I would
it
definitely give him
don't.
that.
But hey,
Yeah.
but people would say scoreboard. Look, we don't. We won the game. You saying he better, but he didn't beat. You know what I'm saying? Jaden Daniels. I mean, I don't know if you can safe to say, is he better than Jared Goff right now? I mean, I don't know that. I mean, but he was for one game.
It's a higher ceiling for damn
Yeah, for
sure.
one game, he looked damn like you said. Jared Goff was the one making mistakes. So I'm looking out the gate, Walt, and I'm looking at the first three games of the season. Um, he's gonna have to, Packers, Bears, Ravens. That's all I need to tell you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no, if you're a quarterback and you love a child like Joe Burrow, and
Those are all pack your shoulder pad games right
yeah,
there.
and Joe Burrow even said in the episode of the new Netflix, the new season of quarterback, he even said, "I like the pressure." You know what I'm saying? I like it. You know what I mean? I want to. I like the pressure of knowing that it's what's up, Corey? It's competition on the other side of the field. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Jared
Of
Goff is
course.
rah rah like that, where he like bring it. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all good. Well, okay, y'all say y'all the best secondary. Y'all say y'all the number top five defense. Okay, my arm gonna show you what's happening. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. I don't think Jared Goff is like that kind of guy where he's like bring it. You know what I'm saying? Now, it means nothing if you don't go out there and win, but I think you have to have some type of uh
Like Joe
yeah,
Burrow.
like you gotta have that killer
That
that's
edge, that
the
killer
silent
instinct. No,
assassin mode, man. And
that's been what you and I have been questioning like the last 3 years,
yeah,
though. It's like, it's and I keep going back to that same exact Kurt Warner throw to Ricky
yeah,
Prohl.
man.
Like, I don't care. I don't need you to be great during the regular season. It would be great if you
Yeah,
were, but when it comes down to it, it's a 9-6 game in the fourth quarter. The
yeah,
offense been stalling out all
yeah,
day. The rushing attack been dead. Y'all offensively, passing game wise, everything been on locks.
yeah,
Do you have the guts? Do you have it in you to make that type of throw in that situation? Because that throw that Kurt Warner made to Ricky Prohl was a fucking throw. Listen, Tampa Bay done had us locked down all game.
mhm,
We ain't been able to do nothing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give my guys shot downfield. I'm not trying to go to overtime with these
Yeah.
dudes. I'm trying to end this right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I miss this throw inside, it's an interception.
Yeah.
If I complete this throw, I'm a hero. And we go to the Super Bowl. Like, I need you to make the big plays and the big moments. That's it. People talk about how bad Jalen Hurts is, and he's not this and he's not that. He's the complete opposite. His regular seasons, he kind of sleep through his regular seasons
Yeah.
damn near.
Yep.
But look how he plays when it matters.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
When it matters is when he plays his best. Not to say it don't matter during the regular season, but you want to be a championship team. You want to be mentioned on the same level as the Eagles, and can't really say who else in the NFC right now because I mean the
Mm-hmm.
NFC is kind of NFC West got some toughness to it. You know, we'll figure out how those teams eventually end up falling out.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to be compared to the Eagles, who are actually the class of this conference right now, you need your quarterback to go to another level.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. And I mean, man, we're getting to a point. I'm still like this. And then this will tell you, at least for me, I'm gonna speak. I mean, I think you might agree with me when I say this, but I still don't know if Jared Goff's gonna play good in a big game. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, some guys, they gonna bring it, man. You know what I'm saying? Josh Allen, come hell or high water, Josh Allen gonna have a good game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jared Goff, yeah, he'll look good in week 7. You know what I'm saying? Against, let's pick a team, against the Browns, against the Giants. You know what I'm saying? Remember the 18 for 18 game we went to last year when we played Seattle? Remember that? Everybody said how great I mean, Seattle was a shell of themselves. That wasn't the old Seattle Seahawks out there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and he played great. You know what I mean? 18 for 18 and trick plays and everything looked great. And it was just like, okay, I want to see that against Ravens week 3 this year. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting. I want to see that performance against Washington Commanders later on in the season. So what's up, Fidel? So
So that's what you need.
that's all I'm saying. And
That's what you
trust me,
need out of your quarterback.
not a game.
Let's be honest.
Okay, I can't give him credit. He did win. And just what Super Random said, that's our guy. What's up, Super? And he's right. I was good. That was the point I'm trying to make. Okay, against the Rams when we needed it, we had to have it. Goff made some throws in that game. You know what I'm saying? The game that our first playoff win, we got the monkey off our back. He made some great throws, including the last play to kind of ice the game to St. Brown. That was a good play. But I think that now the only thing I think is a shutter of hope for Goff to grow is because Jameson Williams is a different dude, man, and I like the crossbody downfield and let JMO run up underneath it. You know what I'm saying? Not so much the straight line down the sideline, Randy Moss toe tapper. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about you got some dynamic things you can do with Jameson Williams. Yards after catch means something to him and Jahmyr Gibbs. So just what Super Random said, man, that's why I'm not even giving him no excuses this year. I don't. He gets no excuse.
You can't.
Goff gets no excuse, man. I want to see the picture of this, and I don't even want to bring out nothing negative. The first show of the season, pretty much. Good season, 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 12-5 record, division title. And you come up short, man, and we don't make the Super Bowl. It's like I'd be pulling my hair out, man, if that happened like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, we're good. I get it. We're a good team now. You know what I'm saying? We're good. Everybody know we're good. We got the respect. We ain't the doormat Lions no more. But, man, it's almost like if we don't make it to where we at least make the Super Bowl, I sound like a loser saying that. I'm saying I don't want to say win. I'm not going to say win. I'm just saying at least make the Super Bowl. I'd be disappointed, man. That's how I feel at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because we got division titles. We got two in a row. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Corey's right, and that's why I don't feel uneasy. I feel uneasy about it. Now you could say don't no team had a perfect situation right now. Look at Philly. Philly lost damn near what 7, 8 players. You know what I'm saying? They did. They draft good, but they lost a lot of.
What is Jim Harbaugh's famous quote? Who got it better than us?
Yeah,
Let's be. Hey, listen, and I'm glad Corey said what he said because he's
yeah.
100% right, and
Corey,
I'm gonna
right? Yeah,
piggyback
you're
off
right.
that. The situation ain't
Yeah,
perfect, but it's damn better than a lot of other teams in the league.
yeah. But I don't want to hear that, man.
So
I
Goff.
don't want no excuses, though.
No,
Yeah,
I'm saying as far as like for Jared Goff, I understand he lost his offensive coordinator, and he didn't lose too much else offensively. He did lose his center, of course, which is massive and is bigger than I think a lot of fans really want to admit the leading on to be. But if you look at this coaching staff, we just transitioned over to the staff. This staff is, if it's not set up for a young quarterback, it's set up for a veteran quarterback. Just look at it. They got 3 former quarterbacks on this staff. You got Marcus Tuiasosopo, you got Bruce Gradkowski, and of course you got Mark Brunell, the quarterbacks coach. And you got Hank Fraley, who's got
hmm
damn near 20 years, over 20 years of football
yeah. Like
experience.
Frank. Yeah, yeah.
So I think
Glad he came back.
the new OC, he's insulated, I think, with a nice
Yeah,
staff, and I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with how well this staff coaches this year.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
young, but in Scotty Montgomery too, the assistant coach is a
yeah,
guy that people need to pay
yeah.
attention to
I like.
because he's grown to be a
Oh,
head
yeah,
coach. Maybe not here, but he's going to move on too. He was the former head coach at East Carolina. So there's plenty of football experience on his staff. Goff has the experience. He's a veteran. You talking about year 9. They got you insulated with a bunch of quarterbacks who've been there before. They've
yeah,
done it. Now, Mark Brunell is the only one that actually got to like a conference championship he did with Jacksonville. Um, Marcus Tuiasosopo didn't, but he was a big time player in college. So was Bruce Gradkowski. Got some starts in the NFL with the Browns, a couple other teams. So I think the staff is insulated very well, and they're going to move on. Now, will they still have their ups and downs? Of course, they're a young staff. And I'm going to say this too. This is a hell of a schedule to have to go up against with a young
gauntlet,
staff.
man. Yep. Oh,
to go up
oh,
against with relatively a new staff. But I think once the DC left and Aaron Glenn and the OC left and Ben Johnson, at that point in time, I think Dan Campbell wanted to, by all means, at least bring Frank back. I got to keep somebody in the building I can trust.
yeah,
I lost my defensive line coach also to the New England Patriots. I'm losing so much.
yeah,
If I was a head coach of a team, I would feel the same damn way, honestly. Like, listen, I'm losing too many people right now. Y'all may not want to pay Frank what Seattle is offering Frank, but damn it, bring him back. I don't care how y'all get it done. He got
yeah.
to
Bring
bring
it
back.
back.
He got to be brought back. It is. I can't lose everybody. So I
Right.
think Frank
Yeah,
coming back is huge also for this. And Frank still having his Frank does have his hands all over the run game now too. A lot of people don't know that. So Frank is handling the run game moving forward. That's part of the promotion that they did give him. And of course, you give Frank 2 rookies. And the rookies is part of what kind of have me a little sketchy on this team right now, because when you have so much wrapped up in a Giovanni Manu, and you got a Kobe Sourcedahl who has kind of underwhelmed, to say the least, his first part of his career with the team, and you got two rookies who you and I both love, and Miles Frazier, and of course Tate Ratledge. It's a lot when you're a playoff team. Now, I will is look, it's a lot when you're a playoff team, a potential Super Bowl contending team, and you're dependent on
yeah,
so many rookies. You're talking about depending on Tesla as a wide receiver as a rookie. there's a good chance Dominic Lovett makes this team. You're going to ask him to play some role, probably as far as in special teams, kick returning. And I was telling somebody this the other day. It wouldn't surprise me if Dominic Lovett eventually replaced Khalif Raymond, because they're damn near the same type of player.
Yeah.
And then he's
Yep.
younger, and then he's not going to cost them a damn thing. That's always a plus
Right.
with this
Right.
organization, man. So there's still enough in place offensively, I think, for Jared Goff. So he still got it better than what? Maybe not coaching wise, but what? Patrick Mahomes. I'll
Yeah.
take our offense over the Chiefs' offense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not like again, like I said, it's not like we're going to take a step back and win 5 games or anything like that. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think that, like you said, I think it's going to be the schedule is tough, but I do think it is a period of a growing period that I think this team's going to have to. Um, I think that this team is going to have to go through some growing pains, and I think it may be sooner than later, which I'm cool with. You know what I mean? And it may to sacrifice the beginning of the season where we don't look that good coming out the gate. You know what I'm saying? It could be a 2-3 start. You know what I'm saying, to the season, but at the end of the season, we playing our best football, and if we're doing that, like you said, because we're getting high level quarterback play, number one, or if, like you said, if Jared Goff carries us through the season, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That thing, I mean, that's a possibility too, where Jared Goff will give you a good 10-game stretch, you know what I'm saying, during the regular season. And I think that what's up, Ralphie? It's always thanks, Ralph. It's always like this team could erupt and you know, offensively, I just think that it may not be as smooth as it. We've been spoiled the last 2 years. You know what I'm saying? It's running it up, scoring 35, throwing 38. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's good, like Super Random said. Now we got too much talent to just say, hell, we ain't gonna resort back to 10, 17 points a game. But I do think it will be a learning curve. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I just hope the way I foresee it, in the NFL season, I think NFL seasons ebbs and flows like crazy. To win 15 games like we did last year was kind of like crazy, just the thought of it. If you just kind of reflect back on last season, which we did already, but to win 15 games, man, is just something that you don't see in modern NFL. You know what I'm saying? So now this year, I think a lot of people are going to fall off the bandwagon. I think a lot of people are going to say, this team is not as good as they've been, and they've lost the lost the coordinators. That's going to come up. I guarantee you during the season. I guarantee people are going to say Goff is not the guy. You know what I mean? And I won't say nothing about that until the end of the season. This is the year where I'm gonna make my decision. You know what I'm saying? Because if this thing falls off the rails, or if we wind up like not
Man, that ain't what I said, man. He didn't completely miss. He didn't completely misquoted what I said.
misconstrued, yeah, and
I'm
Lamar
talking
already,
about. I'm taking our offense, not the play caller. I'm talking about the Lions' offensive set, their
yeah,
players, their roster over what the Chiefs have. Because I
yeah,
did say before that, now Andy Reid, of course, is Andy Reid. But you can argue that I don't even think it's an argument. Jared Goff has more talent on his offense than Patrick Mahomes has on his. I don't think that's even a question, though.
right, yeah, yeah, of course. And Lamar already he in midseason form already. Uh, but man, I just think that right now, and then I think it's a perfect segue, Walt, to go into the position, the depth chart. You brought up Dominic Lovett, dynamic player at Georgia, man. I think maybe the knock on him, maybe he might have not has been as fast, you know what I'm saying, as the average wideout this year. His hands may not be the greatest, from what I've heard, what I've seen. It's something there with Dominic Lovett. I mean, we can start talking about him. I think that, obviously, a late round draft pick. Listen, I'm not saying he's going to come in and be the next, um, the next great unheard of receiver, Ricky Port Pearsall or anything like that. But what I will say is I think that this offense, especially the receiver room, all need some pop, man. You know what I'm saying? We need some guys that can maybe push these guys a little bit. You know, I'm a big Tim Patrick guy. You not that much, not so much. I think
I think
he's gonna
he's
help.
a decent player. It's
I
I
think
don't think
he'll
he's a
help
needle
though.
mover.
Yeah, I think he'll help. But like you said, right, we need a guy that's going to be a matchup nightmare. And Lovett is a guy that could be. You know what I'm saying? Now, we bring up Isaac Tesla. You know what I'm saying? It's another guy. I have no idea how good he's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Nobody does. I mean, if you sit here and say, "Oh yeah, he's just going to come right in," and I don't believe you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, that he's
I
got
mean,
good
it's
traits.
all hype.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, he's
all
got
post
good.
draft hype.
Right. I mean, he's got good traits. I'm not. Let me just correct that. I mean, I'd be disappointed. I mean, he better work out. I mean, that's the thing, Walt. I mean, we can't be like wondering
Yeah,
if
we
this
need it.
guy can play or not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they in a heap of trouble. If he can't play, they in trouble. You know what I mean? That's my opinion about it. Because it's only so much you only can go to the well with Gibbs so many times with no other help. You know what I'm saying? I think Montgomery may have some problems this year because another year on them legs, man, with less talent in front of him blocking. It's gonna be, dude. It's gonna be
We've
tough for
been doing
Montgomery.
this show too long. We thinking too much alike, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be
'Cause I said
tough.
that to myself yesterday, like, and we've been
Mhm,
talking about another running back for the last two drafts. It's you got to
mhm.
protect yourself, man. I think fans get too wrapped up in starters. We got Jared Goff. Why do we need to draft another quarterback? We got Jameer Gibbs. Why would we draft another running back? We got Jameson Williams.
Yeah,
Why would we draft another wide receiver? Because in the NFL, you just one blown tire away from being ass out and not having nobody.
yeah,
This team and not burning bread on anybody, but at the end of the day, it's the NFL, it's football, it's pro sports. It happens. Jameer
yeah,
Gibbs gets hurt and he misses any type of significant time. That offense is stalled. Let's be honest about
yeah,
it. I think he may be the one weapon that they really can't manage to do without.
yeah,
Honestly, at the
yeah,
spot that they at right now, because at this stage in Montgomery's career, you want him being the number one bell cow back. That's not what he is. At
yeah.
this point in time, he's a second, a damn good second at that. But there's nothing wrong with taking a good running back in the fourth round if you see good value there, because you can never have too many good young running backs. You need a good
Well,
young pair of legs consistently. We talked about a power back, getting a
yep,
power back this last draft.
yeah.
So Ollie Gordon of
Yeah, from
Oklahoma
Oklahoma
State,
State. Yeah. But you know what? The one guy, I pick a guy, a couple guys in preseason I root for to make the team is Kyle Robichaud,
Abraham.
man. Kyle Robichaud. I mean, from Boston College. I just think that
Yeah,
I've been Jamar Jefferson disappointed me the last 3 years. I've been counting on it.
Abraham didn't make the team.
Ibrahim didn't make the team from
Yeah,
Minnesota. I was pissed about that. Kyle Robichaud, man, that's a guy that he checked the boxes on some of those things, man. He does. I mean, I think that we need a Rashawn Johnson type, big guy behind the
Raheem
back.
Sanders.
Yeah, Raheem Sanders, yep, from South Carolina, which you hit that right on the head. I wanted him too, but I do think that we do need to, like, let's just say if Montgomery goes down again, I don't think that you could run Gibbs out there, man, by himself. I mean, he could do it. I mean, he's
And
good enough; he could do
right.
it. But
But
you
that goes
need,
back to what we were saying, like prior to the draft, like even during the draft, Dominic Lovett, they probably could have got him as an undrafted free agent. I would, if they wanted to go offense at that pick, I would have rather seen them take a running back over the wide
yeah,
receiver, because you went wide receiver already earlier, 4 rounds earlier.
yeah,
You could have got him as an undrafted free agent. I would have rather seen them take a running back. But listen, it may all work out. Lovett may turn out to be a late round star for all we know.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I want to talk about we talk about depth chart. I want to talk about um Tate Ratledge, man. I do think what's lost in all that. I think that a lot of we've grown to know Frank Ragnow and just know he just phenomenal, phenomenal player, man. Just from what now, just looking at now, not having Frank, I think now people are going to realize, like, damn, a training camp, a season's on the horizon, and we don't have our pro center no more, man. That's going to be adjustment. You know what I'm saying? But I love the pick of Tate Radledge, because I think that he can fit into that role. Now, how quickly could it be like a Cam Jurgens type of situation with Philly? But I think Cam still didn't play his first year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he came right in. I could be wrong about that, but I do think we're in an era of NFL football, where you do need a big time center, you know what I'm saying, in your offense. And I think Tate Ratledge can be that. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I think he's got the right size, he's got the right attitude, the right, attitude, meaning like football attitude, you know what I'm saying, as far as having a mean streak. And I do think he's the perfect, if you keep we hear this term all the time, you can say Dan Campbell guy. I
Dirt
don't know
bag.
how quickly, it's gonna, you know what I'm saying, come together. I just think that people overlooking the loss of Zeitler and
Yeah.
Ragnow. I think it's going to be huge, man. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm thinking is a lot of quick passes, maybe to start. I know Jared Goff can play the quick pass game with St. Brown, and with the weapons we have on the outside. So it could be an advantage. It could be, you know what I mean? But you tend to fall in love with a lot of passing, and we may have Jared Goff throwing 40 passes, which I don't know if that's the right solution either. So it's going to be interesting what kind of philosophy they're going to bring. I mean, I don't know if you can say we're a run first team now. You know what I mean? I don't know that. You know what I mean? Unless we just run the penne suicide every time. You know what I mean? And say,
Yeah. I don't
just
think
get,
they were ever a run first offense like under Ben Johnson. They were always an offense that was predicated off the run, and they utilized
yeah,
it consistently. But all of that came from Sean Payton in New Orleans and his offense from all those years. Like all of
yeah,
this was orchestrated and built exactly in the eyes of what Sean Payton had. When New Orleans was at their best, what did they have? But in through probably both runs, like even during the championship run, it was
yeah,
Pierre Thomas, it was Deuce McAllister, and I think they had a third running back that they was also utilizing at that point in time. But Pierre Thomas was damn near the MVP of the Super Bowl in that year. So, but if you go back and you look at that New Orleans Saints team, your first initial thought is what? Drew Brees pass first team. Pass
yeah,
first, pass second, pass third. They threw
yeah,
the ball a lot. But they also mixed a lot of runs in there, a lot of draws, a lot of delays, a lot of
yeah,
counters, a lot of space, a lot of getting
yeah,
their
space.
offense linemen and getting your defense linemen in space and taking
Yeah,
advantage of gaps. So same thing here. Now that's what things were when Ben Johnson was here. We have zero idea what it's gonna be. I will say this though, before we, get out of here. For everybody that's worried about the offense, it's a 50-50 shot. Things are either gonna be better or things are gonna be worse.
yep.
We can see a situation. To me, it sounds like the new OC has a plan on getting Jameson Williams to football
That's a
a lot more,
win right there.
a
That's
lot more.
that's he's smart man. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
like that philosophy already. Getting into your guys in space, and Jameer Gibbs, I think he did say they utilize him more in the passing game, which I think that's a plus, man. And then one guy that kind of got lost in the shuffle was Sam Laporta last year. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I think that
yeah.
Sam will, and what's the best outlet for your quarterback is the tight end. And I think that he gonna be back Jared Goff's best friend again. You know what I'm saying? Because the safety outlet, because if the best thing you can do if a team is over pursuing on defense, or getting, pressure up the middle, is you gotta try to maybe go wide a little bit and maybe get to the perimeter. And then that's where you can dump it off to, our weapons that we have. So I kind of I like that Morton said that, because it kind of makes sense until we figure out the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Um, Defensively, I just want to say this, Walt, before we get out of here tonight. I'm way more confident in defense if I am in offense now. Maybe I can't say because we lost two guys, but I do think we got. I'm happy to see Barnes coming back. I really am. I'm happy to see. You know what I'm saying. I think Mike
Definitely.
Rodriguez is not going to be back. I think for a while still, and Lee McNeil. But I think to get Reader healthy, Aiden Hutchinson. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's going to matter. I think Talik Williams is going to matter. I think he's a guy that's going to start right away. I don't see him not being out
Yeah, he
there.
has to. He
Yeah,
has
you know
to.
what I'm saying? And that's a plus because the way that kid plays, high motor, it's almost like I kind of feel different now about the defense. I do. I mean, regardless of the pass rush issue, we know that part. But I kind of think we'll be okay, man. I really do. I mean, I think that we can just kind of hold our water until we figure out on offense because our offense is too talented to just suck through the season unless we have an injury to one of the big three, like you said, on offense, like Williams or Gibbs or Jared Goff. I think we'll be okay. I think it's going to be mediocre to start, and then maybe we catch fire, and then try to ride that wave all the way through. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I don't know.
I just
I'm
want
not
to make
sure
that
we can
comment.
afford to have a slow start though. Like our
Yeah,
first three games are all cup check games though. So
yeah,
we can't
boy,
afford we can't afford to.
boy,
You know that Baltimore game, boy.
woo, boy,
Media
you,
gonna be singing around here, boy. You
yeah, yeah,
mess
you,
around and you throw 4 or 5 of them Oskies.
dude. Packers on the road to begin the season, home against the Bears, at Baltimore Monday night, home against the Browns, at the Bengals, at the Chiefs. That's the first 6 games of the season, man. That's gonna be
Yep.
brutal right there. You know what I'm saying? But I think that not saying you be scared. I mean, I don't think that none of the. I think okay, out of all those games, I think the Packers selling wolf tickets big time, man. I don't see I'm not, ain't no way in hell I'm worried about Jordan Love like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, even though we've had the Green Bay's number for the last 3 or 4 games, I mean, it's been a couple games where we
Longer than that.
remember we embarrassed them boys in Green Bay last year. You know what I'm saying? I think it was in the rain. I think, remember, Kirby Joseph had a pick six in that
Yeah.
game. Jordan Love was god awful in that game. But I'm not worried about him. I just think that the rivalry, the theater. I can't believe the Bears game is just a regular 1 o'clock game. I'm surprised they didn't have that like Sunday night or something like that. But the Bears, the Ravens, the Browns, they're horrible. Bengals and Chiefs. So yeah, I mean, good question, Ralph. Before we got let me ask you that. Just what Ralphie said. Well, I mean, do you feel like are we better? You know what I'm saying? Or are we worse? I mean, that's a very good question. I mean, even to start this season off, I'll let you answer first, and then I'll maybe elaborate however way you go
You
with
already know
that.
how I feel. I don't know. I know that may sound like a cop out, but I honestly don't know. Like I said, when you look at a new defensive coordinator, a new offensive coordinator, that's a lot of continuity that walks out the door. You're talking about your best defensive player, maybe
Yep.
your best overall player on the team, Aiden Hutchinson, coming back from a bad situation. He's great. We all have the feeling he's going to be great, but there's still going to be adjustment period for him. That's something that you had to come to grips with and honestly accept. Uh, Aleem McNeil, tremendous player when he's on the field. That's when he's on the field.
Yeah.
He's not going to be back till after what? Maybe the
I
second
think.
week of November.
Yeah.
They
Yep. I
aiming
was gonna
for.
say after
Yeah,
October. Yep. Into
yeah. So
October.
he's going to miss the first eight,
Half the
seven, eight,
season.
9 games. Yeah, yeah. So brand new corners. Also, are we going to get anything tangible out of the 2024 draft class? Is Terrion Arnold going to take a step? Is Ennis Rakestraw going to take a step?
Yeah. Huge year
Like,
for them guys.
yeah.
So yeah.
What is Makai Wingo going to come back looking like?
Yeah.
Talik Williams, he's number one pick.
Yeah.
How is he going to play with that type of pressure on him? It's
Yeah.
just so much, man. And then you pair that with a tough schedule. If we would have been, listen, if we would have went into last season with
Yeah.
all of these things going on with last season schedule, I'd have felt a lot
Yeah.
better. I'm like, okay, you know what? We got Titans, we got Colts, we got Jags on the menu, we got some
Yeah.
horses in Indianapolis on the menu, so we good. But
Yeah.
no, we got some Ravens and some Bengals and some Chiefs and some Eagles later on in the season. So and the
Mhm.
Dallas Cowboys, regardless of how people view the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys they're gonna always be a tough out,
Yeah.
and you don't know what they're gonna look like at that point in time. And even the New York Giants, that might be the best pass rush in football, and we know
Yeah.
our quarterback don't like pass rush.
Yeah. Them boys gonna be hard to beat. Hard to just be able to do anything. I will say this before we get out of here. I mean, I think that that's a very good question by Ralph. I would say this. I would say I think we worse, but I think individually some players are better. Therefore, we could make, because you know how, like, okay, let's just say I just use Kansas City. Like, they haven't been the Chiefs of the last 3 years when they were winning, back Super Bowls, but the team as a whole still was able to overcome, because you know what I mean, the talent, the
Yeah,
coaching, they were, what I'm saying, so they're able to make up for what they don't have. I think the Lions could be on to that part of the winning, because like I said, it wouldn't surprise anybody if this team won 12 games again. You know what I'm saying? Which I think that's what the area is, 11 12. I think Vegas got the Lions at 10 and a half, 11 wins, I think, right now, in Vegas for the season. So to answer the question, I think they are worse, but I think player wise, like individual, like I said, I think you got a smarter Jack Campbell out there. I think, you got a more hungry Aiden Hutchinson, a guy who missed the season, want to prove, get that contract this year. I think, the guys in our secondary, Brian Branch, you know what I'm saying? Kirby Joseph just got paid. I think that all of the Jameer Gibbs is a guy that's gonna be better. Jameson Williams, I'm just excited. He's the one guy I'm excited about, because Gibbs, we know what we have in Gibbs, but Jameson Williams, I think, can unlock something even more. You know what I'm saying? So I do think we are worse, but I won't say like, you know, 49ers worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, meaning they didn't make the playoffs. You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah,
I do think they're worse, but I think that that's necessarily not a bad thing, because I do think that the players that we have can make up for the differences. Like, not have, just say if we go into we didn't get into the question I text you about, not having a pass rush guy, and and another guy, maybe this is who they're going into camp with. You know what I'm saying? And then not having a pass rush is the reason why people think we're not going to be good. But I think that, let's just say, if we came with the team that we have now, still a pathway to get into the Super Bowl with just Aiden Hutchinson and
yeah,
Pascal, and they drafted Hassani, and you know what I'm saying. It's just like, it's not the end all be all. Like, we're making it out to be, as far as like them not getting Miles Garrett, or you know what I'm saying, or any other guy, not bringing Zadarius Smith back or anything like that. So
yeah. And just to say one thing to comment on what you were just saying about the Kansas City Chiefs, I think the key thing with the Chiefs too, and this is going to be also, I think, massive in comparison with our head coach and Dan Campbell. After they lost Tyreek Hill, they lost their sauce.
yeah,
They lost their big plays. They lost their
yeah,
splash plays. Andy Reid mastered situational football. He
yeah.
doesn't coach volatile.
That's right.
That's the
That's right.
key reason why they kept winning year after year after Tyreek left, and they won two since Hill left. So
They won
I put
two.
that question back on Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
So it's like, it's hard to master situational football when you coach as volatile as he does it sometimes.
yeah. They won two Super Bowls since Tyreek Hill left.
Wasn't it two? Or they been wait a minute, because he
Yeah.
left
I think you're right. No, I think
because
you're
they
right,
lost the
Walt.
Tampa. They lost the Tampa Bay Super Bowl. Then he left.
Man, that's a good question. I have to look it up. I can't remember
Yeah,
if
they beat
I
San Francisco
they beat
because
okay without
he
yeah.
wasn't there for yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're
then they
right.
beat
They beat
and
San
then they played
Francisco.
Philly. Yep,
Yeah.
they beat Philly a couple years ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my key thing, man. Is that it's in a 17 game season, can you master situational football and play calling?
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
And it's just what E said. Just what up, E? What up, Bobby Drake?
what up?
Our guys, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Yeah, and you're right. And that was another thing. I think Walt alluded to it, like the coaching staff around John Morton. And I think that, yeah, just what you said. I think if it don't start off right, it could be rocky. We've seen Dan Campbell step in and make a change. You know what I'm saying? And I do think that Dan Cam, we've seen it, that he would he's not afraid to maybe backtrack and say, you know what, it might not have been a good idea. I'm going to take it back. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing, which he did with Anthony Lynn. So that's a good point by E. And then, like you said, Walt, I think that you got so many guys with so much experience on that side of the ball that it's gonna be really hard to f it up. You know what I mean? Because man, because Scotty's probably in his ear. You know what I'm saying? And you know that Hank Fraley's in his ear. Campbell's in his ear. The players in his ear. So I think that he kind of has got a already got a taste of how it's going to be, you know what I mean? And for the most part, I do think the only guy on our team that may be like ready to choke somebody if he don't get the ball is Jameson Williams. I think that everybody else is pretty even keel. Like St. Brown don't seem like a guy that'll start going off a little bit if he don't get the ball. Listen, Jared Goff, it's just got to be he just got to sit back and be the distributor, man. And I don't know if he can. He's got to do it. And it's like I'm not all the way confident saying it that he can do it. That's all. You know what I mean? I hope he proves me wrong. You know what I mean? I ended with that tonight. I mean, just I think that he's the number one guy. He's got the spotlight on him, and I think that man, dude, if he's gonna be the guy that the media is gonna kill him if it don't start off right, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully, you know what I mean, they can get off it to at least a decent 2-3 start, 3-2 start, you know what I mean? Because we haven't seen this team really face any adversity. Remember last year, it was a cakewalk, bro. Think about it. We didn't have no adversity last year. You know what I'm saying? We won all the division games.
Outside of the injuries.
Yeah, right. Outside of injuries, right. But what I mean, like in game, look, Houston game was really the only game they kind of was like, damn, the wheels done fell off this game, and we want to win in the game because Houston like inexperienced and and they kept turning the ball. We made some plays and stole the game at the end. So it's almost like this team needs to kind of be under some fire a little bit because last year was club med, I thought, man, because they won all those games, they won the
Well, it was Club
division.
Med because they played the AFC South.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Told you
Remember we
they had some.
scored.
Yeah, they had some Jaguars, some horses, some
Remember
Titans.
we right.
Yeah,
We put 52 up on Tennessee. We put 40 something on the Jags. We scored 50 something on Dallas last year, and it's like, man, it was 40 something against the Seahawks, and it's like this year I think the game's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be some blowouts in there this year, but I just think that this year may get them more prepared. Well, for what's to come. I think at the end of the season, man. And long as we are equipped and the injury bug, we get lucky with the injuries, man. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. That's all. You know what I mean? And we got enough talent to where we could bypass some stuff and still win. You know what I mean? Not like in the past where it was no margin for error. Now I think that we could have a subpar defense and still beat some people. You know what I mean? In the regular season, I think in defense, I mean, in the playoffs, a lot of things change. You know what I'm saying? As far as if you don't have the personnel or talent or the wrong game plan or something like that. So we'll see.
definitely. Well, it's been great. Great way to kick the season off, man. We got training camp coming in another couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of position group battles, a lot of coaching interviews going on. It's gonna be a lot going on the past few weeks, but football is officially back. Our Detroit Lions are officially back, and Detroit Lions Avenue is officially back. Till next time.